5. We are big mission.
Reka nto mu cyo kwakira ha Channel 5 online TV yo guno Burundi turi muri wa kabare nkabutosha turi ha YouTube turi ha Twitter Instagram Facebook ningaje all social media handles zitwa platform zona turiho ha Channel 5 online TV ninza kutoa mu cyo kwakira no kukunda no kuramusya no kwendeza ibintu byonka ntimukama simwe wajangu tubireba no guno Burundi kandi nshimeza kushangeza ishaha uri kureba program ninga sho kureba video Channel 5 online TV anyonde tabs ahabwirizo bakandi kabutosha ntubahese ibirungi byonka akanagamye ngutufayo kurenda abantu bo mugasho ninga shabine ituba gukora society kugira ngo tukagamba nabo tubamenya kandi tubasima na nebindi bintu binje bitukureta ha Channel 5 online TV mbunye ndakutora mu cyo kuba ninkusima guno Burundi kandi erizo turi muri kabare hamwanya gwa kweta Gracevilla ni omwanya ninga namakagaba bana babahara hiba kukurura bakabeje sengesho bakabeje skills zitazimwe na zimwe bakabakwatira hono mu bitaro mwe na bimwe noho twataya ntukwa tugamba hona uri responsible ninga shi mukama waho atugambire binje bikwata hari Gracevilla rebeka ngo subscribinga YouTube subscribinga YouTube yitu to followinga social media platform zona kugira ngo tubashe kwantufuna ibintu binje bitari bimwe na bimwe akandujuka ngo stegwa makasente abatendo bakery Uganda limited abakurije kunywe cyembogo imbogo darasa imbogo kituzi amuna n'imbogo extra agotume chupa aboshinje kumwe base konofuna ibintu byonka akandi base kuba no shemererwa twineho umukazi ningashi ukunagambira niwe ari responsible niwe ari in charge wa Gracevilla ndahamya ejo abari muri kabare tunatakamenya Gracevilla so nyina tugambe ho nawe turebe Gracevilla agitugambire kitekateko cyo gukora ikigo cyabishaka kiyankahi nabayambata ninga shabikino bagagirwa mu bata nite tuwenka tumusime kugira ngo emirimo yanakora itwa kujuma yanzije mangu ni miliyonji kandi tumusime yo welcome at Channel 5 online TV kandi twakwakira hosting
very welcome Mkayitu Gracevilla kandi I'm happy to be on your show Channel 5
ndamanya uruciga nurukuteganisa makantu konka nashimira kushanga n'urumanya tubasa kugamba mu ruciga kugira ngo n'abantu bona babase kona bakinga and one of the inshongezi kutuma twashima ha Channel 5 kugira ngo promoting culture yitu ya kikezi na n'uruciga nturikunda munonga so nashimira kushanga ntu niwe adota kucira kubura hano munonga emyaka iwambarana n'abantu bagamba ururimi rutari rwawe konka hano uruciga no makuru munonga so nakwakira uguntu Burundi ha Channel 5 amazina kugira ngo mu urukutireba kumanya kuronye munonga
okay muriyo so ni banyata Ruth Kendegye Ndyabakika agonga amazina ganje
akakendegye nantakamanya nantakumanya kakendegye konka Ndyabakika Bahika is short konka and I used nkani ndikozesa ndi muto kuna kura nkamanya how important a full name is and the meaning behind your name is nari horiona na yeta Ndyabakika. So who is Ruth Kendegye Ndyabakika umubugufu no hano zarwanka hino zarwabahi kandi umuntu wakunda kumanya Ruth Kendegye Ndyabakika nanaka Kendegye ukatushobore bagweje bakuzire Kendegye
okay so mama wanje na tata wanje bona nabaciga clearly tata akazarwa Mparo rero bafuruka baza Chihihi so Chinchize yeah so no musiji so nyange musiji mama akazarwa Chanamira no muhara wa Nyonyozi the late am I allowed to say the name yeah shwenkuru wanje so she's a Nyonyozi both my parents ni ba Reverend Canon James Ndyabakika na Reverend Canon Grace Ndyabakika konka my father no mujenzi he passed away about 5 years ago so family yitu ninye middle child
konka mukada cyane
mama riho strong active and niwe Grace niwe izina rya hanwe
yarugirire so ryo wakanga mu bana yo
awagati owakabiri
wa kabiri.
So nyine brother wanje Apollo Ndyabakika Karemera ari Baltimore, Maryland, near Washington DC. Your sister wanje Rachel Karini Wanda ati ni Matembe because she married Gilbert Matembe. And they live in Vancouver, Canada. So ninyo ndi hanuya nywe na mama kabali.
Konkano ba hanuya ninga ni ono basically no hanu kabali.
Yo hanu.
Because zabintu turamanya ngo actually beninga mano muntu nyuma yabazyo yangira ngo echo kubasa kwa bakwetire Kendegye ngo katembenyo nyumunonga manoza hero noija bakweta Kendegye. So tugire ngo Kendegye kargo ngo kutembenyo nyumunonga.
Well bakadimpa ndi kubatizibwa ndi bebe. So mama aka nyine umunda ye ariyo mundeje ari kuza Chicago kwega aina tata wanje. So mukaka wanje ya deciding kunyeka Kendegye.
So okuzarwa kazarwa mu nyonyi ninga just akakwate bishago mu.
Kandi no tindazirwa mu nyonyi. Konka apparently akari very heavy. And so nka flyinga. I flew when I was in my mom's belly. So nka tambura ngiyo mundeje ya nyomu
omunda ya mama wawe okuza hero. So okazarwa kwa hero ninga final kije wazarwa kunuye. Kazarwa hero. So turu nationality yawe ne yakune yakuria because
ne yakuria
legally
I know
okuzarwa no shano hako hariyo.
So I'm a citizen of the US.
Yes. Konka buryo bushikiro ryo wakuna. Mu buryo bushikiri na actual sense ryo hano.
I mean kazarwa yo I was born there and kind of raised there but then I'm a Chiga. Kashushu.
So twashimirwa kwakira Channel 5 guno Murundi twakumanya and tushemeza no kuba ntufuna abantu abalinkiwe na minongo mu mirimo yo kukorera abanyakabo yamune n'abakiga. We are so proud kushanga tuna abakiga bino mu gashogo maninkiwe. So kuwa zari America wakurayo ninga kuba kuzire mami yamara kushoma yija kunuya wazishomera kunuwa bakunuye akwara n'ebintu bibiri arakuzarwa kuriya konka mukamara mukisha hatoka guma kunuye mu kigano rujungo takurumanya kandi wazarirwa America. So iwe akesi yawe ko wazarirwa America ukuje wagarakayo ninga bikahwera ko wazirwa wagaraka wije mukade yamara kushoma.
So well kazarwa yo rero bashoma bamara konka tibija kuno baza Scotland kuwaruga Scotland Aberdeen rero bija kunuya. So nkashomeraho kache KPS Kabale Preparatory School kuba mara. So anyway, in short, I went to 7 primary schools and 4 high schools and nabwo kugenda bati. So nkija naza KPS twaza
na chakanga KPS
P1 no P2. So I was there kindergarten P1 then P2 I came here then P2 still went to Nakasero still then P3 we moved to Nairobi P4 P5 Nairobi P6 Nakasero and then Kabale anyway there were some schools there in Kampala. I went to a few schools there Kampala parents as well and then went back to Nakasero for P7. Then, but I want to say this, then I came here. I also did Muyebe. I went to Bishop's Girls School. I'm an OG Bishop's Girls School Muyebe. Went to Kigezi High School. I'm an OG Kigezi High School. And then went to college school. And then ended up finishing in the United States. Went back to the US.
So akakendegye gumanika kuratira
nibagirango izina niryo muntu
izina niryo muntu. Okay, so washoma chi US
child psychology. Child psychologist.
So ndajangu answer wajigarika mukari like you know wawashomre chiwashomre oli nkuru cyo gukora because abantu binyo uzango abwinshi oyina abana amani guna wagatira mu kuba n'abana ukabareberera ukabakuza konkaje ntina answer. Now talking about Gracevilla kuwarugire America wamara gukora college wamara yo graduating wahikanoja kunuya ningo kabanza kore mirimo America uko
nkabanza nakorerayo for a while. I lived there for a while nkamarayo emyaka 20 finishing school and then working. So and before coming back.
So kumara kwega no kukora toto y'emyaka ne 20 20 years obuyina enkenga ye
tinkazi gamba
because at first andikwenda kwanga ntakubuuza
no I just know I'm much older than I look. I'm in my 40s.
So emyaka 20 okaje mu America urukola ki urukola ebyo bintu by'abaana ewashemire ninga
It's a good profession. Ni profession yokuyamba abantu bari unstable mentally, psychologically, not mentally as in they are mentally disabled, but psychologically. And my main focus was on people who are having trouble with learning disabilities. Then ndikuyamba abantu bine ebizibu bari kureba batari
so America nayo hari abantu abali nkabo abari basihoya like are there people abana bali nkabo bali mutwe batarije psychologically batatirire
I think nebagira ngo buri muntu
because twakashani ka America
omunsi hino kwatarije somehow we are all just
but you see it American tuje tanki gururi yari no shangora America tokaja na kamogo tokaja na kahera ha mubiri
cho
no shangu tero na chinyansi no shangu nori nkumu za glass kushana so akashani ka America waja ngo okano kora abana abali psychologically batarije no umuntu nasakwa surprise that na America shabaje ngo abasako ba psychologically.
Yes, I mean, come on. I mean, oyebuza bwenchi abajungu binji barija kuno for holidays. Oyebuza bwenchi abantu kanye when we came here we became more happy than we've ever been our whole lives. So America ninka kuno hari abantu barunji hari abantu bari. Hari rich people, there are poor people. There are people who are challenged, people who are not challenged. So it's exactly the same as here. Except that
So life ya uli America. Oyiri hebi kuja ngokana okulana n'abana. Konka like tutemuka check shenko atutebeza muka like experience of America urukora wakuzire nawe utora umwana tubakureberera urukwereberera ka experience ako ka America. No muntu tuntego mu America tutakujimanya no kujimanya. Ati you are here no kujimanya kutusinga.
Okay, yeah. So I was lucky in Kega ahantu bareta Boston, Massachusetts, and Ugandans binji bari kurebejine bamanya Boston. Abo kugira ngo hari it has the highest population of Ugandans. No matter waza ahantu okahakunda no letaba relatives bawe what school what, so it became a whole situation of people bringing people. So this numbers say above 10,000 Ugandans there. So when that's actually one end up Ugandans no babona, one end up wenka ninga na Americans no babona. So it's a bit easy if you are Ugandan. Nkaze yaboka mama kana yegayo. That's why I chose Boston. So she was doing her master's in women's liberation theology. So that's why I first started there. When she graduated, she left me there. So it was nice. I mean, in Pakunda, I had a good job. In my nice house, I had very good friends, and I lived with my brother. So I had family, friends, I was fine. So I mean, I liked my life, but there's a different quality of life there compared to here. Kunuya, life is good.
Life yebijere no kwinga.
Life is good.
Kusiyo muchara tukutimbe mondi. Na kuza America okatemba nenyonyi kwira njango life is good.
Yeah, well nichuruga ahari values zawe nkomu. Nge nechora kuna nkomu. Ninkunda family, ninkunda real friends, ninkunda ibyo kuriya byitu, ninkunda climate. I mean, come on. Ninkunda, I love where we are. I love the climate. I love okay. There's a way we are as Ugandans, which when you are away, you really learn not to take it for granted. And so quality of life, if you want to end up focusing on many of them are depressed.
TV never seen.
TV different, and all that. So of course, I'm not saying I want to be poor. No, I don't. Poverty is also is tough on another level. but there's a work life balance, kubalance na life na work. So waba ryo kwe oine your work lero wataha okaza TV okaza urye wenka urye, you know, na family yawe eri, even if you get married and have kids, the kids don't know their cousins, don't know, they're just hanging out with people who are not real relatives. In a small examples, okay, this is now another big example. So now he can enter airport. Nshanga yo mami, auntie, bine bimuri.
Family bakwakira. Bote tuzene batagurira basoma.
Ero mujungu we yaikayo, even if he's been away for 1 year, aikayo akwate taxi
yagaruka
you
kuri
know, so nyowe
kiba
nkecho
kiri nomu.
yeah. And for me nkebyo, those are small things.
Okay. So ni stakagira Gracevilla basically. And kuna ngumena afune jo feeling ninga shi echo kubasa kwijuka. Either kirungi ninga kibi muri America akwa ni mangu nibi kwa experience ngire either bibunire urecha kushemeje stakwebe ikigumo memories zawe ninga she kibi echo
What are my bad experiences?
and a good experience.
I didn't like winter. Winter. Awokuba jombeho neyamani. So I remember nihombere ntanchi ishomero ero winter yahika. Mama yaje na yansigaho. So ndia ndi lonely. Nyina murimo nkakora. Ninye na yeshashurire fees za university.
Olukola chobo?
New bank. I had a good job. So nkani njenda bus kuza ishomero. So I remember one day nduko inyemerera bus. Najirinda tije aboka it's skid, it's snow ekajitanga. So yari makwija icyo tutamanyire nkemera na banka ice. Like I couldn't move, my fingers couldn't move, my nose. I said ebinebichi, why am I suffering to go to school? I walked home. I said I quit school. I said I'm not going back to school until summer. And back home, so that was actually I didn't go back to school until the sun came out because it was terrible. So it's not pleasant.
Obwire bwa winter no buryo bulite.
Wanji?
Obwire bwa winter neri problem yenyine.
Problem. I mean no jwara gloves tikwe. Gloves. Omunda ya gloves. Sometimes they have things which are electrical to warm the not gloves tizidama. Not the kutama ebintu biri kuwarminga gloves winter ni.
So inamukwenda baro kunuka bari engwembe ho yakabari abantu bana bazana zana.
So difference okwe wata omunju hari warm habakwa houses zona ziri warmed. Buildings zona ziri warmed. So hanu ya harembeho ni harembeho.
No munju waza mushaka kufukana mu kiyungwe nakayihona.
So kuriya wabone embeho okirukanga kwatawa munju immediately no warm. Na trains zona zinemu heaters na
okay.
So engineer difference.
Itokuno worgo munju yawe na hashana heru yari.
Konka maya like there everything like hanu hariyo aki the twist kaza ntuba ice. It freezes. That's how cold. So even your blood can freeze. They have frostbite and what.
So good experience. Chotakaye bwa ekiri good choni chia.
Good. Even titaza kubigamba nugamba ari Gracevilla because nibwe na
okafuna masente
wa well, I had a good job. There, industry, medical, nebashashuraji. Nurses get paid very, very well. Doctors, of course, and I was a child psychologist. And that career is they pay very well. So I was doing well.
So mukamba mukola basically kuganiriza abana
you make appointments, people find out about you, bakani bankunda bakangiyo mwira guju. So and there were few blacks in that industry, and I think I became good. So in the end, they just liked me. So no way in appointment book yawe. So you can in Koromo farm, whatever law firm, I know different lawyers. So as in a farm, had a psychiatrist, psychologist, child doctor, and different. So me, I was the psychologist there. So with you come to the receptionist, make an appointment, put you on the calendar. So I would know this day I'm seeing this one and this one and this one. And each child, you create a plan, a program, the treatment plan, but it's not like a treatment plan. So with one, now you end up seeing minimum, like a year, minimum. So every month or every insurance, ninga checkbook, your family. That's how often they would come to see you. Okay. So any process. Okay. So each visit they pay you pretty well. Yeah.
So ebyo byona wabiruga aho waruga mu bank n'amasente ga America wagarika wija kabare kushitama no kufuna abana babishe baboro batashemire like echaku inspiring n'ecyatumena ngo ruge mu America warukufuna sente nyinji ujana ukabarushitame oze kurebera abana babanako batakwebasa ningashi nizo mpangari like ekyakupushingira ngo uje kuno yaniki.
So warahurire invisible children abana ba night commuters aba northern Uganda. So in your story, so kan tana brother wanje Apollo. So Catherine friends, of course. So you find programs so that you are not bored. So we had a group fellowship. I'm born again. We had a group that would meet once a week, once a month. Could have a movie. So when I ate food or wow, I ate a movie.
When I think wijaje ni mato kujumanya. Binebya by'abatakani abanigi na kutera no abantu mukarya mukazina mukaba. So mukamurya muri movie then mushaba muta.
Tushaba Anyway, so back nitwe twaturi hosting anko kumwija kungira izoba. So nimo wokureta movie. So abajungu batuletera Invisible Children. So ejo movie a.k.a. documentary eri kwereka abana ba northern Uganda ku bana babona. They were showing it depicted Joseph Kony and all the terrible things he was doing, atrocities. So as a kind of following particular children. So no matter reba movie ningo kashoma newspaper reba movie yone kwereshya chimwe oshashe or So I remember tukarira rero yamba mara batanka kutubuza nikwebiri omwana. How did it start? When did it? What is all this? Nkantire na fact emwe yo kubagaruka
kashimanye uko takumanya eturira heru utakomanya ko nabantu babona
konka nashwara nkashwara abakwana jangu abana bit a war has been going on at that point for like 16 years. Why don't I know about it? And why aren't we doing something? I mean, even just praying for them.
And Baba's just...
so, nashwara, I was sad, I was embarrassed, I was everything. So, echochiro twaronda, DVDs, vikabi inemu esimu yenyima, a producer.
Yeah.
So, twatera. Twabuza who they are, Bashemera wajong, titwi never Ugandans, bari kutuyam. And we're looking for Ugandans to be a part of this movement. So, a movement, a called Invisible Children, bari kujaza shining a spotlight on what was happening with the children in northern Uganda. So, cutting a story short, abokane story endingwa. When a brother wanje twaba advocates, twaba representatives by Invisible Children on East Coast, yona Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York, New Hampshire. Nitwe twaba the main.
Mawagambitwe abakuna music wagamba East Coast ntukaturonda batu park na.
Exactly. East Coast, West Coast. Okay, yeah. So baba nkaba ambassador, baba aba advocates ba Invisible Children. On East Coast. So it was not for paying. It was completely voluntary. Twatanika kuraling. But there were other people there, but we became part of it. But we were the only blacks at that point. nkega byingi, because they were not doing it just in a strike and what. No, they had a very good process. They first trained us. Public speaking, you know, there was a dress code, because this group would go to people who matter. Talk on street, like here, how you first go to talk to maybe the GPC, then you go to talk to the LC, then you talk to the mayor in Cape. So there we would talk to senators, we would go to senators' offices, and that's where I met Senator Edward Kennedy, one of the Kennedys. So the first time Nazai, if these statistics are true and this fool has been running for almost 20 years, how come we don't know about it? Senators. So they said, then you have a big job ahead of you. Your first task is to make all the noise you can so that people know about what's happening. And so that the people who can make a change by feeling a pressure.
So you're sure
they didn't know. They knew about Congo, they knew about Somalia, they knew about, how Ukraine is.
Northern Nigeria.
Yeah. So they knew what was in the news. We were not in the news. So that movement was actually great. So it was a hadi. Because I know Oprah. Camping on parking lot here. It was 3 days. Mpaka yashohora. Yeah, so in the end, 2 representatives went on the show and talked about, like, we even end up at the White House.
So mama inangwabata hashoye Oprah. So
yes.
So mukamu bembeza chi, like umukwekalakasa kwanyu mukamu enshonga mukamu irti hani.
There's this going on.
Because kuno nyama people power mangu madibichi mukamu jam hineni mukuzinge to meaning mukamu jangu twantusha bangu mazima muturebe
Shine a spotlight on this. These kids this has been going on. There are kids who have never seen peace and they are now in high school. It was the only country in the world at that time which had children, their own people living in displacement camps in their own country. It was the only. So there were so many terrible things happening and nothing, anyway. So, but it was not political. But it, anyway, we kept away from the political part of it. So in the end, what came out was the White House, Obama actually signed, signing a letter declaration, an act.
No, ukazahowa Obama, cyo chukuru tumanyi.
Tarandebire ko
kamurebi. Obama kamureba kuko kamureba. Mu White House.
Yes.
Akataramo bakuchebere baze hari.
I mean, you can't
tukufaguza. So press ko Obama keriye tamukamara wibinga kuza kwa, like how many days zikawatwara kuja mu.
This was years. It was years of no, by the time because it even reaches the point of it being signed as a declaration, it's it took, but actually we Google it, it was at that point it was the fastest passed declaration. Like it had a record at that point. No other act had been put into law so fast. So it was an LRA disarmament, like the act was, it just in words, they're saying they should disarm Kony, that this is indeed a war that has reached these proportions. So it had a long name, the Kony Disarmament Act and blah blah. It's there, yeah. So ebyakura sireho
bakora Aunt Ruth. Ndina ngutuleba unakuru mwaleba Obama. Wakagambaje. Mwara ya hoka speech mwa mushtami
akao speech ya handika it's in ya shoma ichihandikira
ichuma bino mutwara cyandiko cyanyu ya choma then yajata uko ni mwehe mbundu orutorwo rurikiraho
kandi nitwe nka America twakugezaho kuba yamba
so ndajya wahure kina ningamba kugira ngo hari abantu ko bari more important mu community because takuchimanya chimesha ngo hati yana no mu abakama bari mu government n'abandi bakwereka ngo bakamaraho urutaro rwakoni rukaba rugwine genesis aza okapringa part mu kumaraho urutaro
in my tiny way
tiny way akuba you never
I was
know
also part of the masses.
You never know ko jengo turarebere jo movie ko jengo toje ta reka wenki rweyo na indebe ngo twayamba witu never know bakatoza kuha koni time bakana mu mama tu then abantu kwachafa no kufa so nanyina ngo nyitirize ngo nyondi clearing ninga nchigambe nturwo mu mantu ba tumero terwa kono rwaho iwe nkomuntu okaplinga lol mpango so after yamba ku tama apiteje ekitoje bakinguza akakora trawaje
so ebyakoni kambirike abo kuba it can become political and it's a long story because think
yeah
whatever natural orange you fear yellow you fear red
aunt
aunt is orange
and purple
okay
so
yeah
so mwamara byawo
so for me personally it changed my life ejo journey
obukana bukuru ochakora mu banka ochakora mu family aninga ukabirwaho waza kwededicating akuri
nkarugo mu bank. That's another story. Abo kukora mu bank ndikushashura taxes bayanga kumpa financial aid omushomero so narugamu natandika kukora under the table ndikurebera abana babysitting so I said babysitting for a living because it was not taxable but they paid better than the bank yeah so for the rest of my years of I tell these kids I worked for every penny that I of school. And I liked Nkabikund. It was a good job. But I missed the bank. Anyway, so in those, but babysitting, I can the kind of flexibility to be able to also focus on what I was doing with the children of Northern Uganda. Yeah. So even in Boston, I started doing small things, getting involved in the community there as well. Community organizing, events. People thought I was even from the north because I was always Koni, everywhere. So it made me grow as well. I think nechirabo kumanya echo nangokore. It's a gift to know what brings you joy. Nechirabo kumanya chira kureta. Yeah, what makes you feel like your life is fulfilled. And I found it at that age. So natandika kwija omu bihumuro ndi ku volunteering yeah omago kwija ndi kuchakara kureba ba relatives and what nkatandika kwija and I would go to Northern Uganda, spend a few weeks there, work. I went to different places around Uganda, different orphanages, basically ndi kuronda. I wanted to create what I wanted to do for myself. Tarukuchima exactly, but I wanted to see different things and put pieces together to create something. Ruth.
So, kwa rujire muri Northern Uganda, because byona twabigamba kugira ngo tunango tumanye, Gracevilla, ekazarwete karugankaya. So ejo nichiro nkutaka small background na nokubya kushapingire bikakombeka kugira ngo umanye now cyo kwenda kubanka Ruth now Gracevilla yatandiketa hati.
That was the genesis
ya Gracevilla. So kwa rujiro mu Northern Uganda, did you come and wakanotandika ni wakaza aherukaje?
No, tindakozire Northern Uganda nkazayo volunteering for a few weeks here and there, and at that point it was with children who had come back from the war. They imagine how they were psychologically. Even the girls who had been abducted and had been forced into becoming wives, not even real wives. So I was dealing with very, 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 very sad stories. Deron kagarukayo nkadilinga na stories z'abana. My dad doesn't knock when he's I have no privacy in the house. Like the issues didn't
match
the weight of this scene,
Kulia America abuwano yamba nimenango bayamba kugira ngo usheta kuteza kodiya nataho cyane cyane ngakunuya abakunuya haro abana imyaka 12 abana abo ba force nje mu rutaro haro abana batindi
were forced to rape their mothers at gunpoint. or to cut off the ear of the father at gunpoint.
So olukudiringa nabo bakunuya kuri abantu kugira ngo tubatwita chocolate yizo.
I don't have Michael Jordans. Anyway, there were many bad issues there. Let me not trivialize. And that was the reason I said it's time to leave. Because if you start not empathizing, wareka kugira connection y'abana bari kuyamba oreke abokana batari kubayamba anymore. So it was time. I knew it was time to go, and my heart was here.
Kuno ejo sitereka yakuwiningira mojota ebiri okumazima biri more important kusinga biri kuli. So you came.
So natandika I didn't just come. It took me 2 years. Nduku ntalenda ngunyije nkabarije bari kucyanga nyo nshomire kanza kuyamba abantu
sente kanyenze kute sente kabari
rero ije oshobye kore abi abantu batare tenga ninga so na preparing.
Okay, nango banze organizing ikintu cya waza kwije mu 2 years kibe cyabi.
Even to put savings, I needed money, I needed emikago, I like that word here. Connections, networking, talking to people who have done this before. I came to Kabale, I lived in Uganda for 3 months, went back, I didn't just come. I prepared, I had a book. That book was big, it got full, ndokanika notes. It has pictures, it has, my vision, and just putting things in place until I formalized what I wanted. I wanted a home for girls. I wanted them to be very few so that I look after them well. I wanted them to go to KPS. I had a vision, but just fast forward that vision, people didn't go to KPS. We were in demo, reality hit when I came. But so I tried to prepare as well as I could, because remember, I'm coming here where I had no job. I didn't have funders. Many people think we have funders. I didn't have funders. It was a vision which I wanted to make reality.
No connections, no words.
Yeah.
You were just you.
I was coming, Aza ndikwenda ngu chibe a Ugandan organization. I wanted it to be run by Ugandans, Ugandan funded, everything. So I came. In 2013, I came. And next year marks 10 years.
Next year, And ninja kushemererwa n'aba part of the celebrating 10 years of Gracevilla. So kija watanikira kabari. Because I'm asking myself, I want to kwizera tara campaign yo mu Northern Uganda ahakwire story. Ahatumire hakwindura mind. Kandi habi akiro nebizubu. Up to now wakine bizubu bitini kuno kabari. Utaragira mu Northern Uganda kandi yabanza gukora kuba.
It's a good question. It's actually a good question. So, Northern Uganda, there are so many organizations there, number one. It was very popular with NGOs. If you go there, you just see signpost, many, many organizations there. Second, I'm from here. At that point, when I moved, I was actually president of Banyakigezi. Did you know that? That I was.
When you moved to where now?
Here, when I came here.
When you came?
Yeah.
Like an president of Banyakigezi?
I was already president.
Banyakigezi?
Nkangyo ICOB. And I still am. I'm so in ICOB, but I was
here. President wa
ICOB.
I like that.
Yeah. So I was very passionate about our region. Very. So Nkabanza Nava, Deputy General Secretary. Then when the president's term was up, then I became president for about 4 years or something. So now it's Dr. Munini who came after me. So and then also, one was akuyamba, abana, babahara. It helps if you have buy-in of the community. I have my whole legacy of Ndyabakika, Nyonyozi, Uncle,
So
I had a good legacy.
Batakuza kumanya no kumanya but kanzo mbigire byabashore nkunda bamuze but
And also abantu were more welcoming. You reach a door and you say, "Hey, kachetero, hey, kachetero." Then they, hey, so it helped. A campus soft landing kuija kabale.
So, Northern Uganda still. Ukanoreba bishi
Hamwe
nabo
n'aboojo, yes.
now ekyatumire hano wa focusing aha bishiki bonka kandi n'aboojo turumu abine buzibu niki.
Well, first of all, finances. I'm small. Uganda has very good laws, very good policies on how you're supposed to run everything, including a home like this. So if I had boys, I would have to have a ratio of male staff. Remember, I was the staff. I didn't hire staff at first. So it would be impossible. It would create a whole different financial bracket if I also brought in boys. You have to separate them properly. You have to, and we had a house. It was a normal house near Green Hills Hotel. So number 2, which is a fact, is if you have to start somewhere. Well, I wanted to start somewhere that was the most impactful. And the statistics showed, I didn't know from experience, but what I read showed that girls are better at passing on the blessing. Like if you help statistics, I'll pull them out, we even Google and things. And you'll see the number is so huge, the disparity of girls. If you help a girl, she will help her family, she'll help her mom. Even with women, no, they have a child, something, they go home running. You first pass the bar. So those statistics, which I read, showed, and now me being on the ground for 10 years, I've seen it's true.
So mwana w'umwishi nziza kwanga kuja buyayamba nabo eza umuka ninga abanyabuzali ninga shabandu bantu kusinga umushija abona yamba kashwira umukazi bikahwiraho. Okay,
so that was my number 2.
So abojo baba nibo twarugamo tsiyoyo aboja ntukunaka kashira.
Anyway, so those are my 2 main reasons for choosing girls.
So emyaka mwene wamara no korana nabishi waja mukatanikira aha Green Hills. He na Green Hills. Yeah. Thank you. Ma okatanika n'abana banga
3. So actually nkatanika ntari ready kutanika. I was concerning on the staff. Remember I had said we were going to have a big the vision. So part of that was a helper, a maid in the house. And so I put out word bande Tromhad. I'm 19, 20. Yeah, she pretended to be legal, but you could tell she was young. So now Zomugamba nawe, and anyway, her story I found out after making friends with her is she was a clever girl in high school. I mean, she was in primary school, and a boy liked her in Kisoro, followed her home. One day he followed her into a field, raped her. She went and reported to the police. They arrested the guy. He was from a good family, which gave the mother a goat. Yajira kumutas. Umuhara yatoroka ija kabari. Moreover, a man who raped her. So she ran away and came to Kabari and said that she'd come to work to get money and go back to school. So now that was the story that I had come to help, right? So she ended up becoming my first girl. Put her in school. So then I got 2 other girls like that somehow. Yeah.
Experience yawe n'ababishi omyaka mwende Asia na Gracevilla nabona kuchukwatirana n'eki abwenchi wajese Gracevilla tuchomera bwenchi why Gracevilla etadi chindi chintu ba Ndyabakika Foundation or what abwenchi Gracevilla then cyakandi ijimya ketu amara mwenda n'ababishi like what have you seen etwali ibiro mubishi specifically bishi necho abejiro necho wabalebiro honichia abwenchi wajese Gracevilla then tuzena engage.
So Grace is an easy one. So Grace ni mama wanje, Reverend Canon Grace Nyonyozi Ndyabakika. Mom is a reverend, and she was the first woman to be ordained in Africa. There were 3. Bishop Festo ordained 3 women here in Kabale. So Kabale was a trailblazer, and my mom and 2 other women were trailblazers for Africa. So for me, that's huge. It's huge, right? Akata in a world of men, like it was a male-dominated career. It was very tough. Imagine. I mean, and she ninkundo kuya chikozi.
So can I say appreciating what she did?
It was an honor. It was in honor of her, but also she managed to do what she did because my dad supported her and Bishop Festo supported her very well. So she had people around her bari supporting. So abana nitubagira ngo twabaha all your opportunities, will support you. But you need to be a good girl. You need to read hard. We are giving you the tools and the support system, and you can be anything you want to be if you do what you're supposed to do. So it's the same thing, kind of, for the girls. Dero hamwe n'ekigambo grace kiramanyisa embabazi. Yeah. So two things again.
Kale turi mu compassion, kale mu chana kuro mu compassion. So tukatine honka slang twatulinka tukuza nko outing ninga en tujangu otarige embabazi zakugirirwe. So embabazi like embabazi zo zikaziri nko mwanya zikujabubura buri omu. So tukantu tujangu ezo mbabazi zakugirirwe takazeba kuzigira abandi. So niyo kena ngo ugire ezo mbabazi okale embabazi zagirirwe ezabire wajya ngo zigira abandi bana. Ncho wagetire Gracevilla.
Embabazi ejinenju yembabazi. Yeah. It's a house of grace.
Yeah.
It gives grace. Yeah.
Okay.
Then,
so nicho wajeti grace. Now 9 years tuyomo because tunano kura twahendera 9 years when nababishi orukubareberera. Hinaba kwija bintu mutima hango. Hinaba kwija no expecting anako bari yatoshanga lyati. And sure ko kushana no mbwire byase by the way. Abana abo kuwine batandika hamwana kwingana ki umukumya hamya kingana ki then nakuba arakushanga asimya kizikumi na mushanju aho haza makantu aho like challenges na experience of no myaka mwenda na naba bana neya.
It's been an adventure. But my girls are good. No bari so first of all, right now turatwara abana bataresirwe police or probation. We work there. Those are our partners, and we work together. So our children now have we only take in Awakwa. We are many. We have 200 children under Gracevilla, 215, and in the house we are 30. It's a big house.
Abandi balinka.
So kuirahanu. We're not supposed. We take kids who we don't find safe home for them to be in. So we're supposed to be a middle house. Police bring, then we look, find relatives, then place kids, and that's what we do actually. You find home, you find relatives, mukaka, auntie, even mom. Sometimes you have to reconcile. Mom has remarried and the man didn't want the kid, but now you cancel them, So you reconcile. So that's where they are. Or there are some who we look after who didn't even pass through our home, but we are looking after them from their homes. So we take only the most valuable.
So urugenda kungamira ngo hari abana bari abana 215.
Yeah.
Barabahanuye.
Not they are supposed
wa shanga kubasa ku reconciling na family. You take her back.
It's the law. It's even the law. Everyone should have a plan of how you're going to somehow put them back with their family. It's the law.
So abari hanu ba nibo bahati yoko. Abari hanu.
Because of the law. But yeah,
abona bataka fune family zabo, abona batine hokuza.
Yes, that's the case.
Kusanga watine buye korowe niwe family in hana Gracevilla. Wamunyango atahe na ija hano ya. Wamunyango ndabanyabuzari n'abanyabuzari ni Aunt Ruth na nabandi.
So no shanga but now we also have older girls who they do have family. We found their family, but then it's their home. So that's why I said Ntagama. I mean, so right now our eldest is Fiona, who is no longer my kid, but she now works for Gracevilla. She's still my kid, but she's no longer in the program. She's out of the program.
But now
because she finished. She came when she was in high school, I think senior 2. She finished university. She did a BBA. and we hired her. She went and worked a bit, and then we hired her as she's in charge of our finances. We have Doreen, who also came when she was young. She's just finished Chambogo. She's doing her teaching practice at King's College Budo right now. So when she finishes, she'll get a job, a government job, and then eventually,
she
hopefully,
starts her own family.
Yes, yeah. We have 7 kids in university now. You know Chirawo, you said she's your friend. Her, we got her a scholarship. She's in Mauritius, where she's the vice president of that university, and doing really well. So she's home for a 3-month internship. So, and by the way, Chirawo worked, because you know how I worked. I told you I was babysitting. She worked, and all her money brought it home and bought us land.
Oh.
Right here near First Service. So we have land. My child brought us land.
Like Erita kakarugura Gracevilla ninga so akasenta kwa kuzo kakalita because takushashula fees in scholarship. So akataka senta na koleka nkagurita.
Aza nkakunde kichia gambira bana. She said saving takes humility. Not buying new clothes, not wearing the latest things, not eating KFC. Working in a cafeteria. When she's the vice president, people asking her, why are you working, serving us food? She's like, me, I know what So she worked and came. She came the last holiday with some money. It wasn't enough. She went and worked again and brought more and bought us one. So it was one of my highlights. So even I have another girl who worked at Cash and Carry. A lot. She was not sleeping, working. You know how they work in the not sleeping. At the end, she had saved everything and gave me all the money. And said fees for the kids.
So abana harimo challenges kuteganya so tukunka abana
I mean, these are girls. Even me, I gave my parents challenges.
Because you know
every kid. Like we don't want the kids to be scared of being kids. Make mistakes. Mistakes are what make you learn and grow and everything. So we struggle sometimes with the girls, but it's expected struggle. Like you don't come here not wanting trouble. But I have no bad kid, bad, and I think, yeah.
So tukunda kwinira kuba ninda kumanyiza still umurebi wa Channel 5 nti tujja kuba tulya not once not twice kugira ngo turebe nibi kugenda mu misho ubundi tukainspiringa n'abandi bantu turi hano kugira ngo tukusima kushaka ngo no kwereka abantu ngo nicibasika gukora ikintu iki na kiriya.
But I have to talk about the community.
Yes.
How is that come? Do I have time?
Yeah, in the time. So jigambaho like ndina ngutumba manyisa ngo icyo Gracevilla n'ibindi homes tuzakora twaguma tutayira kugira ngo tukamanya nabo batu inspiring and turatwamanya ngo ibintu bibasika. So tukwenda kuhendera kugira ngo igisession yo kubantu jumare hano ya then je tugareke actually je kureka tuje kuja kutayira abo bana tugambe nabo turebena nabo bana ko bari na tugambe no experience yaba kwa still kutura ahantu hatari wanyu konka hakabo wanyu kandi ukahikiriza na experience.
Yes.
So hiba kutura ninga shikomite bakutura mu no jigamba wenshi koko wachigamba
enchi
community
our community. Yes. No, because I would feel sad if I didn't mention how Kavale has embraced us in Kenya.
Yeah, they were wajigambira okache kugira ngo ekakwa smooth landing konka hati ya ekuzire niwe you are growing together.
I would not manage could intervene community. First of all, Ngamba, the different groups like Rotaract, then we have our board of directors, right? We have the US board and the other board. Then under that we have a group called the Dream Team. And as our board, it's chairman with
Sam.
He's on our board, very very active, and he was part of our growth when he was even youth chair. Akatuyamba very very much. So so we have the Dream Team. So we have Dream Team Kampala and Dream Team Kabale. These guys here, we meet once a month.
How about a Dream Team?
They make sure Gracevilla on the ground runs smoothly. Everything. There's someone in charge of agriculture, in charge of education, in charge of chikazi, everything, to make sure these things move, because these are our products. Make sure, so they're in charge of every important aspect of Gracevilla. So every month they give a report. Where there are problems, they're the ones I report to. When I have an issue, they're the ones who go to the district, the ones who go to even... They take a lot of work away from us, and it's 100% voluntary. So they're amazing. So I wanted to mention that.
So kuvolunteering tinabakumurgunya ngo mwaleba ngo Ruth walabona sente ndagira kandi tukuvolunteeringa tokafuna mu challenge
nababona
turabafune on the way kuza mwana bajunior kuvolunteeringa bakujya maybe kat volunteering bundu twaka mwisho tukatwagira mu bono handling
because they're the same as me. They see how we struggle. People don't, because we are happy and we look comfortable, people think we don't struggle. But people who are in they see the actual struggle. Because remember, we have no umbrella. Everything we're doing is Ugandan run, Ugandan funded. We have a few more funds come from locals like you. You know, we even have waiters who give us money, and staff. You know, we had someone in Pambara Cox gives us milk she was giving us actually every single day at one point. We have women who come, then we have something called 50K warriors, where people give us 50,000 and they suffer to raise the money, but make sure every month they give us 50,000, 50K warriors, and their own regular people. So small, little by little. You know, we were evicted from our other house and were given 3 months to leave. I had given up. I didn't even know what I was saying. Abana tuwakufuruka tuzoa mama, and because we were homeless. Then people said, but Ruth, there's goodwill. Put it out, put it on Facebook. And I think hakunda kuta issues on Facebook. Even if you look at our page, we rarely put issues. This time we made noise. All our supporters, like you, people put on their platforms. People put on, there was a car wash, there was a university kids, 3 months we raised the money and bought this house. So when I talk, that's why I said I have to talk about community, because we wouldn't exist. I don't think we would still be here if it weren't for our Ugandans.
Okay. Yeah. So, niza kujangu chachiri n'ikintu cy'umutano ku sharing anyway something for the first time. Kandi kushaba ngo next time nabota katuzubira tu sharing homo n'ubundi sharing homo tokamanya tubasa kujya kitwagita ndi actually looking forward tukajya kitwayamba Gracevilla nka muntu kanye ninga maybe nk'abandi supporters banye naye kugira ngo ndakaje cyo bayamba abana aba so nani changu for today tube hano but next time nza kuja kureba abo bana nabo tuganire nabo tushemirwe nabo no gunu murundi cyabasika mukama kakutiyamba tabona umutwaro ba kiribireze mondi we can still bring it just to take ha Gracevilla kandi ndakusima cyatwetizo ngo twatera ngo tukusime no kwerekwa abantu batakumana harugirire cyutekateko cyo kutandika Gracevilla konka twakimanye so ntunda kusimira mukama kandi ntunda kugira ngo tukushabire imigisha mukama yongire gumana kureba kandi akuha injimije kugira ngo ubundi ukagumiza muno ko rihangara ibintu by'amana munonga tujya ha channel 5 online TV ni tabs twantugamba na Aunt Ruth binamugambe tuni mpurandi kwena ngumete honorable kuba urukore ibintu byo kusingana yaba honorable bamwe atwantugamba na Aunt Ruth ogunwe ari kwebembera home ningashi eka ya Gracevilla atwantugamba nawe experience tugamba nawe tumumanye tugamba Gracevilla tujumanye n'ibintu kebyo agenda kusima wagole warebe video kandi kujya ntubuta ka subscribing YouTube channel yitu tukuratira ha social media platforms zona Facebook, Twitter, Instagram ha channel 509 TV. We are coming up nitwe na foundation Keza Foundation so kwantuleta ebikujukwataho a channel 509 TV. We are soon bring on a channel 5 FM online radio tukwantuju unveiling nayo nebindi binji mukama yatugirire imbabazi reka nkusime kugira ngo nitwe zishaha tureba no guno murundi mukama kurinde see you.
Channel 5, we are big mission.